What's up, y'all? It's your man Derek Andre, and you're watching Who's Derek Andre TV on YouTube. And you know what time it is, and if you don't, here we go. This is Totally Disgusted with your host, Derek Andre. Well, if you don't know, now you know. That's right, it's time for Totally Disgusted. I'm your man, Derek Andre. And, yeah, let's get this show started, man. Let's get this show started. I hope you're having a great day. If you're not, then you need to fix that. You got until midnight. All right? You got until midnight. If it takes you all the way till 11:59 to decide you want to have a good day, at least you got 1 minute left to turn that frown into a smile. All right? So, here we go. Today on Totally Disgusted, I want to ask a question. And the question is, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done in a relationship? What's the dumbest thing you've ever done in a relationship? You know, love makes you do some really, really, really stupid stuff. It just does. Love makes you do some very stupid stuff. You know what I mean? It makes you really think outside of the box and not in a good way. A lot of times we be thinking with our genitalia and not necessarily with this thing up here. Not even with this thing in here. It's usually with them things down there. That's what we thinking with. And so love will make you do some very, very ridiculous things. So, while you listen to me, I want you to be thinking about some of the dumb things that you've done in a relationship. Because we've all done it. There's not a single person on this planet right now that has ever been in a relationship that didn't do something that was just totally, totally stupid. And I mean flat out stupid. There ain't no other way to put it. It might have worked out, but it was probably still stupid. So I want to know in the comments, if you're watching this live, in the chat, what is the stupidest thing you've ever done? The dumbest thing you've ever done in a relationship. So I'll start because that's the way these things go. So I got a couple of instances that I did some really dumb stuff, and one of them, you know, it wasn't too impactful on my life, but the other one kind of was. All right. So the first dumb thing that I did in a relationship, I was probably about 20. I think I was like maybe 23, 24. And I was dating this girl I had met at the gas station. That sounds like the mistake right there, don't it? That sounds like the dumb thing, but that wasn't the dumb part. But I met this girl. She was working at a gas station, and we started dating. And she ended up crashing her car. She moved in with me. She moved into my apartment. She ended up crashing her car. I put a new radio in it. She was messing with the radio, got hit by a fire truck. That is not made up. She was on Grand and Natural Bridge. She was playing with the radio. It was one of them Alpine pull-out radios. She was playing with the radio, had the volume up, didn't hear the fire truck. Fire truck ran into her. Needless to say, since she was at fault, her car was just total. Gone. Nothing left. She had a nice little Pontiac Grand Prix. Not Grand Prix. Grand Am. It was gray and burgundy. It was clean too, man. Low mileage. I think it had maybe like 15,000 miles or something. It had low mileage, man. It was in a great shape. And she crashed it, messing with the radio, got hit by a fire truck. Well, that put us in a position to where we had to share a car. All right. And at that time, I had a little white Mazda 323. It was a 5-speed, a manual transmission. I'd had that car for maybe about a year, and that was my car. It was paid for. It wasn't the greatest, in the greatest condition. I had a sunroof in it that used to have glass in it, but somehow when I bought it, the glass got broken out. before I bought it. And so I was they just had like a piece of like plexiglass or something laid over the top of it. And so I was going to take it and get it fixed. And, I went to a little place that did sunroofs. That shit was too expensive, so I never got the sunroof fixed. So, I had a nice stereo in it, all of that. But it was a raggedy car, and that was what we had. That was what we had, because her car was totaled now. So she couldn't drive a stick, all right? She didn't know how to drive a manual. So we were kind of in a tough situation because we needed to share a car. So at that time, I was working as a material handler for an electrical contractor. This was right before I became an electrician's apprentice. So I was working as a material handler, which basically means I had to take material from one job to the next, pick it up from the supply house and stuff like that, take it to the job sites for the guys to, be able to get their work done. So this was before I became an electrician. And she was still working at the gas station. So in order for us to be able to make this now one car lifestyle work, I worked from 7 to 3:30, and she worked from like 4:30 or something, 4 to 11 or 3 to 11, something like that, 4 to midnight at this gas station. All right. So I would get off work. I would come home. I would snatch her up, get her to work on time, and then I'd go back home until it was time to pick her up. And then I'd have to get back up in the morning and go to work. So needless to say, that began to get old because we did that for about, excuse me, y'all. We did that for about a month or so, And I was like, this ain't going to work, because I'm tired. You won't get off till midnight sometimes. The person that's relieving you don't get in there. It's 1 o'clock. So I was like, we need to do something. So we went to this little car dealership called Feld Chevrolet. It was on Lindenberg and St. Charles Rock Road in St. Louis, Missouri. It is not there anymore. But we went up there looking for her a car. Right? We were going to get her a car. She needed a car. So we went up there and we found this little two-door sports car, little Eagle Talon. And she liked the car. I liked the car. I was like, this would be a cute little car for you. So we go inside to do the paperwork. She don't have enough money for the down payment to get the car. And I'm like, well, damn. What we gonna do? So the salesman says, well, if you guys got a trade in, that would be enough for us to complete the deal. Because her credit was all right. My credit was all right. But we didn't have enough money for the down payment. And our credit wasn't good enough to get in the car without a down payment. So we needed a down payment. Well, we sat and we talked about it. And I was like, well, you can't really drive this car. She was like, nah. I was like, well, I tell you what. We'll trade in this one. Because the car that, she had picked out was newer. It was a lot nicer than the one I was driving. And she could drive. We could both drive because it was an automatic transmission. So we went ahead with the deal and I traded in my little white Mazda 323. We get the car. So we still on the same schedule. I get up in the morning. I go to work. I got to be there at 7 o'clock. So I get up in the morning. I go to work. I get off at 3:30. Go straight to the house. Pick her up. Take her to work. Come back and get her at 12 o'clock. Whatever time she was getting out. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. That was going fine. One day, she gets in the car. Now, she got this little coworker that she had been talking to. So one day she gets in the car and she like, so what you be doing after you drop me off with the car? Where you be? It's long before everybody had like cell phones and stuff like that. I'm like, I'll be at home. She was like, I ain't think nothing of it. A few days passed. She get in the car again. She's like, I don't know if I like this. And I'm like, what you mean you don't know if you like? What are you talking about? I don't know if I like you having my car. Now it's her car. Now I done traded in my damn car for her to get this mug. I don't know if I like you having my car in the evening because I don't know what you're doing. And I'm thinking to myself, now where this come from? Why all of a sudden do you have a problem? Now I done been, and we ain't had no problem with this. When I was driving my little raggedy car, you weren't having these issues. Now all of a sudden, you starting to question what I'm doing with the car and claiming it's your car, but I done traded my car in on it. So about 2 weeks in, she get in the car after work. She was like, I think I'm going to start driving myself to work. And I'm like, hold on, man. Where is all this coming from? That's when she was like, well, so-and-so said that her boyfriend, they were sharing a car, and he would be dropping her off, and then he would be going, and going over these other females' houses and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, this and that. And I'm like, I ain't that dude, though. I am not that dude. So she was like, but I don't care. Well, it's my car, and I want to drive myself to work in my own car. So now I'm mad because I done gave my car up. I done traded my car in so that she could have a damn car. And now all of a sudden, she done let this little chicken head that she worked with get in her ear and start telling her, oh, this, And I'm like, ain't this about a blip? So then, needless to say, this creates tension between us. So see, God got a way of working things out, though. God got a way of working things out. So I'm like, look, man, I don't really care that you drive yourself to work, but you ain't got to, keep trying to accuse me of cheating. Well, the apartment that I was living in was a garden apartment. All right. So we were already on the verge of breaking up. So the apartment that I was in was a garden apartment. So it was on the lower level. So one night it rained and it flooded the apartment. Well, it flooded the apartment to the point where it was no coming back from it. The walls were starting to mildew, this, that, and the other. So I had to go back and forth with the leasing office to get out of the lease. Because I'm like, screw this. This relationship falling apart anyway. She crazy. She accusing me of cheating. I done traded in my damn car so that her ass can, we can get around and her ass can at least be able to share the vehicle, this, that, and the other. Well, I came to an agreement with the leasing office. And I was like, look, the leasing office said they'll let me out the lease. She ain't on the lease. She just kind of, she was just staying there with me. She was living with, some friends or something, before she moved in with me. So I was like, well, since the lease is up, I'm finna go ahead and go back to my mom's house. And, I'm just going to stay there until, I can, figure out something else. She was like, well, what I'm supposed to do? And I'm thinking to myself, now I was probably very immature when I did this, but I was thinking to myself, I don't give a fuck. Excuse my language. I don't care. I don't care what you do. You done constantly accusing me of cheating. You don't want me to drive the little car no more. You know what I mean? I done traded my damn car in on it. So we broke up. I went and stayed with my mom. I borrowed her car. The company that I was working for was kind enough to loan me some money for a down payment so that I could get a little pickup truck. And I ended up getting me a little blue Chevy S10 pickup truck. And I drove my pickup truck. And we ain't never see each other no more after that. But that was dumb. I should have never ever traded my car in. But see, that's what love make you do. You think you in love with somebody in your early 20s and you be doing dumb stuff that you don't think that is going to backfire on you, and it backfired on me. I shouldn't have never traded in my paid for a car for this girl to get a car and us not even being married. That was dumb. So that was the dumb thing I did. That was dumb number one. Dumb number two was actually life altering, but I got something great out of the deal. But dumb number two was not following through on my plans. So this was 2002. Yeah, 2002. So my sister had moved to the Virgin Islands in 2000. All right, January of like 2000, and so she moved to the Virgin Islands, and so over the next couple of years, I had kept going back to visit, and I had decided that I was gonna move there too. My mom moved there, and I was like the last one to go. Well, right before I moved there, I met a young lady at the bookstore that I used to do poetry at. I met this young lady. Now this is before I'm planning on moving. Now I had laid out everything how it was supposed to be, and when I got there, how I was gonna do this and how everything was laid out and blah blah blah, this, that, and the other. I knew it. I had my plans laid out. My plans at that time included me and my son, because I didn't have any other children. I wasn't married. It was just me and my son. All right, that was my plan. I was going to get myself established and set up. He was going to come and we was going to live in the Virgin Islands, and it was going to be great. It was going to be grand. Well, I meet this young lady. Let me see. When did I met her? I left in October of 2002. So I met her that summer, like during the summer, at the end of the summer. So we dated, man. We had like this really good whirlwind relationship. She was super cool, man. The conversation was always good, man. We was straight up vibing, knowing that I was gonna leave. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do, cause in October I'm leaving, and we'll just figure it out. And so in October I left. I had all my stuff packed up. I sent everything to the Virgin Islands. I got there, stuff went into storage, and I started my life. But at the same time, she and I were still in communication. The conversation was still good. We had really just kind of started falling for each other, and everything was just like working, and it just felt right. Okay? It just felt right. Now, let me tell you something. Let me give you a little sidebar here. So, I'm at the beach one day, chilling. This roster come up. We start a conversation. And he like, yes, blah, brethren, blah, blah. And he going on through it. We talking, and he like, are you visiting? Do you live here? I said, well, I just moved here. No, let me think. Hold on. How did that work? Let me think about this. Oh, I said, I just moved here, and I said, it's just me right now, my son. And by this time we had decided that she was going to come. She was coming to the islands with me. So I was like, and it's, my girlfriend is going to be coming, this upcoming summer. And he leaned back and he looked at me. And he's like, so you're bringing son to the beach? And I was like, no, man, it's cool. That should have been the sign to say, no, we can't. No, this ain't going to work, because I'm all the way here. I'm trying to start over. Don't bring what I'm leaving to my new life. I'm leaving St. Louis, leave St. Louis where St. Louis is, and don't bring it into my new life. Well, I didn't do that. I didn't listen. See, this is dumb decisions, dumb things you do in a relationship. I didn't do that. So I just kind of brushed it off, didn't think nothing else of it. Well, she and I had still been in communication. We had planned for her to come visit in February for Valentine's Day. So this is February of 2023. She comes to visit in February. We are like for real in love. We like straight up in love with each other. Everything is going good. We're getting along. Everything is great. No problems whatsoever. When she comes in February, she gets pregnant. Cause we was like, we didn't we knew what we was doing. It wasn't no accident. I was old enough, grown enough. She was old enough, grown enough. We knew what we was doing. She ends up getting pregnant. All right. So her vacation's over, so she goes back to St. Louis. She comes back the next time in the summer because she was a school teacher at the time. She comes back in the summer. And this time when she comes with herself, my son, her son, and our unborn child. The mistake that I made was I did not calculate for that many people when I planned to move to the islands. When I planned to move to St. Croix, I had only accounted for myself and my son. I didn't account for myself, my son, my fiance now, because we did decide we was going to get married, her son, and our unborn child. I went from 2 to 6. I wasn't ready for that. And as a result, nothing, and I repeat, nothing worked. It was the best, worst relationship, and it ended up in divorce. The only good thing that I got out of it was my daughter, my youngest daughter. That was the only good thing that I got out of it was my youngest daughter. So I'm saying all of this to say, man, if you're young and you're watching this video, don't make dumb decisions out of love. If you just feel like you gotta make some decisions about your life, don't let your hormones be the determining factor of what you do. Sit down someplace, write a list, make a plan. Plan your steps, man. Don't make dumb decisions that you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life. The whole trading in my car thing for this girl to get a car when, that did not affect me in any way, shape, nor form after the whole situation was over. I done bought many cars since then, but it was dumb at the time. I put myself in a very compromising situation because if the apartment hadn't flooded, I don't know how I was going to get to work because my job was like 45 minutes, almost an hour away. And there wasn't no buses or nothing that was going to be able to take me to get me out there because I wouldn't have been able to get up early enough in the morning. So I might have lost my job. So that didn't affect me so much. But when I planned my life to move to a tropical island, and then I brought a family with me that was not originally in the overall plan, that was catastrophic. It led to divorce. It led to me being homeless for a little while. It led to a whole lot of things that did not have to exist in my life because I made a dumb mistake. Like I said, the only thing of quality that came out of it was my daughter. Everything else was just like, why did I do this? I lost my island home. I can always go back, but the mere fact that I had to leave my island home because things just wasn't working out. Things weren't working out. I had planned to move to the Virgin Islands and stay in the Virgin Islands until I was getting dirt shoveled on my black ass. That was the goal. The goal was for me to move there, stay there, live there, build a life there, and basically die there. Yeah, I was going to come back to the States and travel around and do some other stuff, but the goal was to go to the Virgin Islands and stay there. But I allowed my lack of self-control and lack of judgment to make me make a decision that ultimately impacted me for years to come. My goal was to go to St. Croix and find me a Puerto Rican woman. I got a thing, when I was single, I had a thing for Puerto Rican women. Never dated one, but I always liked Puerto Rican women. So I just knew that I was going to move to the Virgin Islands me and my son, I was gonna find me a little Puerto Rican wife, and we was gonna have a little Spanish speaking, dreadlock wearing, knife toting baby. That's what I had planned. But I brought my old life with me into my new life. And it didn't work. It didn't work. If I had stuck to my plans, I don't know how it would have turned out, but I got a sneaky feeling that it may have turned out better than what it actually did. Don't make dumb decisions in your relationships if you can help it. Sometimes, you find yourself, making decisions and, making choices that, but if you can avoid making dumb decisions, and I'm pretty sure I could probably rattle off a few more, I built a relationship out of what should have only ever been a one night stand. I don't even know how it ended up being a relationship. It should have just been a one night stand. It should, at best, it should have never even been a one night stand. But it turned into a relationship, and it ended up being us being engaged and me calling the wedding off because I was like, this shit is crazy. And nah, man. I'm gonna tell you what, if you're ever interested, I got a PDF. It's called How to Ruin Your Life in 5 Easy Steps. One man's struggle with women and money. And it is based solely upon those decisions. I got another dumb decision. At 19, I done made some dumb decisions. I don't know how God has let me live this long and have any quality of life, because I done made some dumb decisions. At 19, I dated a girl. This is probably the dumbest. I think the other ones are probably, because this one is the one that really kind of set the ball rolling. I dated a girl at 19 who had a newborn baby, and I didn't have any kids at all. I was 19. She was, I think, 19 too. That was the dumbest mistake I have ever made in my life. And I will admit that was a dumb mistake in a relationship. I was totally thinking with my manhood. That was it. I was not thinking logically at all. And I didn't have anybody say to me, hey man, that's stupid. Don't you do that. That's dumb, man. Don't do that. Why would you put yourself? So I didn't see the fault in it. And it ended up starting a domino effect of just series of unfortunate events that followed me all through my life, financially, emotionally, legally, all because of one bad decision. I was paying child support. I had a baby pinned on me by the same girl. I ended up paying child support. I didn't even know what child support was. I got my paycheck one day. I was like, wow, I couldn't even get it out. Where my money at? Listen, don't allow emotions to rule the day when it's time to make decisions that can follow you forevermore. I've made some dumb decisions in my life, and I use those dumb decisions to talk to my children to ensure that they do not make dumb decisions like their father did. I tell them all the time, I'm like, there's a bunch of wonderful things about me that you can model your life after. But here's a few that if you see them coming into play, you need to run like hell. You need to run like hell. Don't allow your genitals to map out your life for you, because it will fail every single time. And I mean that, man. I mean that with every fiber in my being. I have come to the realization that it is best to acknowledge the poor decisions that I've made over my lifetime, so that I don't have another generation of Derek Brown's following me. That's why I wrote my PDF, Steps in the Right Direction. So that young people don't go out here that don't have any children, jumping into bed and jumping into relationships with people who do have children. If you ate between the ages of 18 and 30 and you ain't got no kids, you either need to stay single or date somebody else who don't have no kids. You do not need to be involved with somebody who has children because you ain't ready. You are not ready. That's why I wrote How to Ruin Your Life in 5 Easy Steps. One man's struggle with money and women. To save people, man. I do not want to hear people tell stories of how they made dumb decisions in relationships that followed them their entire life. Some things are avoidable. I tell my kids all the time, you don't have to learn every lesson the hard way. You just don't. Some lessons you're going to learn the hard way because we never got a chance to talk about it. We never got a chance to discuss it. I never got a chance to warn you because you can't know every single thing that's going to happen in a relationship. You just can't. But if I can tell you, hey, don't do this. Hey, I did this. This is what happened. And this is why you shouldn't do it. Because if I'm telling my kids don't do something, there's always an explanation that goes along with it. So if I'm saying, hey, don't do this because this is what's going to happen, please listen. You don't have to learn every single lesson the hard way. I know that we have free will and we want to do things the way we want to do them, but some stuff can be avoided. And I do my best as a parent based upon all the information that I have for the stupid mistakes that I've made in relationships. Because some of the worst decisions that you will ever make won't be while you're single. It'll be while you are involved with someone. That's why you got so many baby mamas and baby daddies out here. Because you made an error in judgment while you were in a relationship. You allowed your genitals to be the brains. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't allow dumb decisions to ruin your life. If you're watching this video and you are young, please take heed. Please take heed. Don't do. I have a very strong envy in a good way of people who made good choices throughout their life. Calculated choices, educated decisions. I have a very, very strong but loving envy of people who made good career choices, who made good relationship choices, who took their time and plotted their steps. They didn't just jump into stuff. I've jumped into things my entire life because I made decisions out of emotion. It wasn't until I got later in life where I started realizing, Derek, you cannot make decisions emotionally. You have to make decisions logically. Your sound decisions come from research. Your sound decisions come from asking questions to people who have come before you that are doing the things that you want to do. So I have made a lot of mistakes over my lifetime in relationships. And I am hoping that those of you that watch this video will not, and I repeat, will not make decisions based solely upon emotion. Make decisions that are solely upon physical attributes. Don't do that. Me and my wife was watching a movie. I forgot. It was some documentary, but it was filmed back in the 70s. And they were talking to young black people, basically kind of in the projects. And it was about relationships, and it had something to do with maybe the welfare system or something. But anyway, The interviewer was asking this young lady. I wish I could think of the name of it because I would pull that doggone clip up. The interviewer was asking this young lady why she picked the guy that she picked to have a baby with. And her answer was because he was bow-legged. Bow-legged. Hold on, let me see if I can find this clip. Hold on, let me see. I'm trying to think of the name of the documentary. Let me see. CAUSE. She said she picked this dude because he was bow-legged. And I was like, for real, in shock. In shock. And she had a baby with him. She had a baby with him because he was bow-legged. Why? That's the kind of stuff that be getting us in trouble. That's the kind of stuff. Nobody told her, hey, this is a terrible idea. You gotta, you can't just be thinking that, look, I can't find a documentary, y'all. If I could think, I wish I could think of the name of the damn documentary. I can't find a documentary. But yeah, she said she picked a dude because he was bow-legged and ended up having a baby with him. That was her reasoning for, it's been people that have picked folks because of how they dress. Oh, I like, he dressed nice or she dressed nice. Young people, man, when you're young, you got to listen to adults, man. If you got somebody in your life that say, hey, don't do that, that's a terrible idea. Hey, you should probably listen to them. You should probably listen to them. And I know it's hard to do because your desires a lot of times outweighs your decision-making skills. But sometimes you really do need to listen to people to save yourself a lot of headaches. All right. So thank you so much for listening. Hey, if you have a dumb decision that you're willing to share, put it in the comments. This is a no judgment zone, and nobody better not come in these comments talking about what's dumb. Everybody that made dumb decisions. There ain't nobody on this planet that have ever been in a relationship that didn't make a dumb decision. So don't judge nobody else. So if somebody wants to come in the comments and say, hey, this is what I did when I was, 20 years old, 19, 18, 30, whatever the case may be, don't nobody come in this comment section judging, or I will block your ass. We don't come here and do that, man. This is a safe space for people to be able to open up and be like, yeah, I did that, man, and it was a mistake. The mere fact that you can admit that you did it, that you can take accountability. That's what I have had to do over the years. I have had to take accountability for my decisions. I can't blame anybody else for the decisions that I made. I can't blame nobody else for me trading in my car so this girl could get a car. I can't blame nobody else for making me decide to date this young lady, knowing that I did not have the means prepared to take care of that many more people aside of what I'd already had planned. I can't be mad and I can't blame nobody for me dating a girl who had a newborn baby. Actually, wait a minute. Let me. Actually, I can, because she was a blind date. I can blame the people that sent me on that blind, because I would have never met her ass if they had never sent me on that blind date. And they know who they are. I ain't gonna call their names, but they know who they are. I love them to death, but I'm still mad at them for it's been 40 something years or 30 something years. I'm still mad at your ass, but them I can blame, because I would have never met this girl with this baby had it not been for it being a blind date. But you got to take accountability for the decisions that you make. And even when they decided that they wanted to introduce me to this girl and she had this baby, it was still up to me to have the common sense to say, Derek, this is a bad idea and it can only end badly because you don't know what you're doing. This girl had 9 months to prepare for a baby. You had 9 days, 14 days, however long it took me to decide that this was going to be a relationship. I have to take accountability for it. So yes, in a relationship, you are going to make dumb decisions, but you cannot blame anybody else for the dumb decisions that you make. You have to hold yourself accountable. And once you've held yourself accountable, you better make damn sure that you don't continue to make decisions of such poor quality. Okay? Okay. If you're new to the channel, please take a moment and click the subscribe button and the reminder bell so that you never have to miss another video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, and share the video so that we can grow the channel. The goal of me making these videos is to not only inform you, but to grow the channel so that maybe I can pull an income in from it and I can spend more time creating more content that I think you all will truly enjoy. Because I got a laundry list of topics to talk about. And the ultimate goal is to actually bring people on the show with me so that we can have a banter and we can go back and forth and talk about it. And I have a way that I can do it. I just got to iron some more bugs out to make it work. But yeah, but if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. Click the subscribe button and the reminder bell and make sure you tell a friend, comment, like the video. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for always supporting me as I create this content. I appreciate you very, very much. Very, very much. Underneath this video should be some merch if you're interested in making some purchases. Have lots of t-shirts, man. Lots of t-shirt designs. It'll look something like this. Let me show you here. Hold on. Let me pull up my channel. I'll show you something. Here, let me mute this and let me pull it up and you can see what it looks like underneath the video so you know where to look. All right, so here's that. Let me pull that up. This is what it looks like when you see down here at the bottom.
That would be a garbage truck.
There's merch down there, man. You just click on the merch and it will take you to my shop. If you want to look at, you want to look at that kind of stuff, you can go right there. You can pick up the shirt, stuff like that, man. So yeah, if you want to support the channel, there's lots of ways. You can support by watching. You can support by watching. You can support by purchasing merch. I also have books and things like that for sale through my website. So there are lots of ways that you can support the channel and support me as an artist so that I can continue to bring you guys great content and informative content. All right. I got a new job, y'all. I'm going to be driving for Amazon. I start on the 2nd of September. I am also doing a fundraiser. I'm trying to raise funds because I lost my car back in May after about an 8-month battle trying to get my car out of the shop. And it went from being in the repair shop to being in the impound yard to ultimately getting repossessed. So I would like to try to raise money through product sales, and I got a crowdfunding page set up to try to build some revenue so that maybe before the 2nd I can buy a car. The actual car, my car, is currently for sale right now, and I wish that I could go and repurchase my car. It's on sale right now. I just saw it. I was looking for some stuff and I stumbled across my car and my heart sank because I really love my car. I bought that car for myself as a gift back in September of 2023. And when I lost it, man, I was devastated. I was truly hurt. And so it is actually for sale. I found it on a website at a car dealership not too far from here. I'm trying to raise money, even if I can't get my car back, maybe I can get another car that's relatively decent so that I can get back and forth to work, so that I don't have to be a burden on my wife and my daughters. And, there's no public transportation that'll get me to my new job, because we live in an area where the public transportation is just pretty crappy. Lyft and Uber cost way too much. Half of my wages will go towards trying to get back and forth to work. So I'm trying to raise some money to see if I can buy a car over the next week. And I have the products to do it. I just need the traffic and the people to stop by, check it out, and make some purchases. Or if you just want to donate, that's fine too. But yeah, so that's what I got going on, y'all. And so thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Be peace, be love, be one. And I will see you in the next episode. You guys have a great evening, and I'll talk to you later. Peace. Thanks for tuning in to Totally Disgusted. Make sure to like, comment, and tell a friend.